What's up, everyone? We're doing another pellet review. This week we are doing the Gamo Redfire in 22 caliber. These are 15 grain pellets, and in my opinion they are pretty much clones of PolyMags. I know that PolyMags are a little bit different shape and the quality might be a little bit different overall, but the overall function and idea of these pellets are the same as PolyMags. But I will be doing a PolyMag review in the future, but I just think it's interesting to mention. Did you guys like those intro shots? Man, some serious shock from these guys, so make sure you watch the whole review because these pellets are pretty interesting. And not only that, but I do an extreme barrier test into clay, shooting through 5 layers of aluminum, and then I compare them to Piledrivers that are 30 grains, twice as heavy, and some really interesting stuff happens with the penetration testing. But yeah, so enjoy the review, guys. Subscribe to see the new videos that come each week, and yeah, enjoy yourselves. Alright. Alright, so we just did 35-yard test with the Gamo Redfire 15 grain 22 caliber pellets, and man, that first one was just dead on the money, man, guys. Okay, so mind you, my gun is a unregulated PCP, so these two flyers I honestly think were because of my gun pressure spiking, or not having even pressure. But so we got like 1.5 inches here, and I think with a better tuned PCP or just a standard gun, you could probably get an inch group easy at 50 yards or at least 30 yards. They seem like pretty decent pellets. Gamo gets a bad rap for their alloy pellets. They're usually pretty inaccurate, but I think their lead pellets are probably as decent as most brands, as long as you obviously check for major imperfections. You're probably gonna get pretty decent groups out of them. I mean, that's pretty decent. Ragged hole, I'm always happy with that. But I mean, we got some walking there, but most of this is because of my gun. It needs some serious tuning, but there's just a look at the accuracy of these pellets for you guys. Alright, guys, so that was a pretty cool test. So that was the non-barrier test with the Gamo Redfire. Man, blew chunks out of this block. Look at that. It's crazy. So we measured here. We have about 3 inches of penetration, which is pretty good for a hollow point round. I mean, if you see how much energy it distributed, this is not meant to penetrate deep. This is meant to dump its energy. This is literally like the torso width of a squirrel, a rabbit, a bird. So this is actually ideal for those types of pests because it's opening up and expanding and distributing its energy so fast. The width of the shock cavity is over 1 inch, the new record for any pellet test so far. We've had about 1 inch, but this is, look at this, close to 1.5 inches here. Just vicious. I mean, you can see it just blew this thing wide open. Take a look at the pellet itself here. You can see it has just fully opened and expanded. Look, this red pellet, or this red tip, is sharp enough to where it actually pushed down into the cavity, expanding it or whatever, and then it put a hole through the lead because it got so thin, because the lead stretched so much. Look at that, looks like a donut. Whew, perfect expansion on that. Okay, so now we're going to do the barrier test, and we're going to see if it can still make a nice wound cavity like this. This is like textbook you know, beautiful wound cavity here. And yeah, so we're going to see what it can do through a barrier. Let's do it. Alright, so we're about to do the barrier penetration test. By the way, so that is the unfired Gamo red fire. So far, that is the fired pellet with no barrier. So pretty nice expansion so far. Now we're gonna do 3 layers of wood and 5 layers of aluminum. The aluminum will be not only in front, behind, but also in between the layers of wood. So we're gonna see what this bad boy can do, and what the heck it looks like after it goes through all that and hits into there. So, you think it's gonna be able to go through all that? I don't know. Put your bets in the comments. Let me know. Let's see. Okay, so I assembled the barrier, but I might have been a little too optimistic on how much this thing can penetrate, because goddamn, I don't know what you'd be shooting at that would have this much to go through. But I will tell you, you know what? Sometimes shit happens. You gotta be able to do it. So, I have no idea what's gonna happen. I think it might make it through. We're going to shoot from this side, so there's 1 layer here, a layer between each of these, 1, 2, you know, there's 3, and then there's 2 layers on the back right here. So, alright, let's see what happens. It's going to be in front of this thing. Is it going to make it through? I don't know, it's pretty crazy. Let's see. Alright, whoo! Man, I actually was like really unsure if the pellet would even go through this barrier. I mean, it's pretty freaking thick. I mean, on top of it, it's got layers of aluminum between it. And you can see that, like, man, it punched right into it. But, it was not moving very fast when it came out. I mean, it just, like, poked out of there. Had to punch through another 2 layers of aluminum out the back. Went into the clay, but as you can tell, not very deep at all, which is fine. You know, we weren't doing this for, like, you know, that's why we did the normal penetration test. If we set this, I mean, it's literally like, what, 1/4 of an inch in? Half an inch penetration. Quite a bit of wound cavity there. Looks more like a pimple than anything. Alright, so what do we got here? What happened to our pellet? Man. So this time, obviously, it didn't really expand. It had to go through a fuck ton of wood and metal. And yeah, got through there. So pretty cool that this round, see, here's 2 different versions of it. Oh, shit. So that is the barrier shot. And that is the what am I saying? That's the non-barrier shot. That is the barrier shot. I don't know what I'm saying here. And yeah, so you can definitely tell a difference here. I mean, here we got a perfect mushroom and expansion, and here it just totally deformed and turned into like a little asteroid. But yeah, so the Gamo red fire, you know, I have to say I'm pretty impressed with it. It went through a heck ton of wood, and it had great expansion, great penetration for, you know, what it is. and it was pretty accurate. Is it as good as a PolyMag? I don't know. I haven't tested PolyMags, but I will be getting them soon, and we will compare them head to head. So, but if you can't find PolyMags and you can only find Gamo red fires, they seem pretty similar. And the Gamo red fires do expand wonderfully. They do work. So besides maybe getting some better accuracy out of the PolyMags, you're gonna get a pretty similar performance from the Gamo red fires for what you're trying to get from this style of pellet. Yeah. So I think we might add in a bonus clip here of me shooting this with a 30 grain H&N Piledriver, just to see. I want to see, because this is like a 15 grain pellet, so I want to see what a 30 grain pellet does with the penetration and the if it still goes into the clay. So let's do that as the last fun shot, and we'll call it a day. Alright, so for fun we're going to shoot this 30 grain slug slash Piledriver by H&N. I'm going to see if it can penetrate this barrier just like the Gamo red fire. So if this penetrates better, that'll tell us something about the Gamo red fire. If it doesn't, that'll also tell us something. But yeah, let's see what happens. Holy cow, guys, I wasn't even planning to like do this for this, pellet review. Like, I'm shooting the Piledriver during the Gamo red fire review, but it's just crazy. So I wanted to see, this was such a crazy barrier, honestly. Once that Gamo pellet made it through, I wanted to see what a much heavier pellet could do. So now, as you can see, that first shot we hit to the side, so it really didn't have to go through much besides some aluminum. And that Piledriver went in and practically to the end of this block. This block right here. 7 inches. So with pretty much no barrier, this Piledriver went 7 inches. Okay, so then we got the good shot on the barrier. Boom, dead center, right there. Piledriver pile-drived it. I don't know if you could say any other word. Fucking hammered. Now look at that, just blasted out. That was the Gamo red fire. That was the Piledriver. You can see just with authority how it came out the back there. Then just hits the clay, continues on like nothing even happened till 5 inches. Incredible. And I just wanted to do this, and here's it. So here's the one second. So here's the Piledriver pellet that went through the barrier. That's the Gamo red fire that went through the barrier. Pretty crazy. I just wanted to do this comparison of the two because, like I said, this was a really intense barrier. And I was surprised that the Gamo red fire made it through. I was impressed. And I wondered if a heavier pellet going much slower could even make it through. And if it did make it through, how much further would it go? So, as you can tell, guys, density and weight make a huge difference. I mean, look at this thing. This Piledriver, at about 18 yards, smashed through all of this wood and aluminum. Okay, 5 layers of aluminum, 3 layers of wood, and still gave us 5 deep inches of penetration. Okay. Now don't get me wrong, this Gamo pellet, very fast, very flat shooting. And it zipped right through this too. Made it through and went 1/2 inch. So that's where the Gamo pellet went in. That's how far the Piledriver went in. But you have to understand, obviously they're two totally different pellets. So that's the expanded Gamo Redfire, and this is the Piledriver that went through pretty much nothing. And the one that did go through something did get some nicks on it. But anyways, obviously these are two pellets made for two different things. The Piledriver is supposed to be for accuracy. It's not that accurate. It's supposed to be for long range performance. The Gamo Redfire is for pest control, high impact, medium to close range most likely, and it does a really freaking great job. It looks like it expands extremely well. If you hit birds and squirrels or rabbits, they're all going down. Probably wouldn't use this for a raccoon. Too lightweight, not enough penetration. But squirrels, rabbits, and birds, all the way with this Gamo Redfire. Extremely impressive. Lots of shock. And like I said, made it through this crazy barrier. I mean, what in the world is going to have something that thick? I mean, that's almost, you could say, imitating like a hog skull at this point. You know, that's a lot. But anyways, alright guys, so this concludes the crazy review of the Gamo Redfire. I hope you enjoyed this comparison. It was kind of a crazy pellet to compare to the Gamo Redfire in the review, but I just wanted to make it fun, you know, pull out a big heavy hitter and compare it. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Lots more pellet reviews to come, and I'll try to do, a lot of you said you wanted to see like normal dome pellets in comparison. I mean, you could say this is a non-expanding dome pellet, you know, so yeah, I mean, obviously, again, look, like, the pathway is obviously bigger, but, like, hollow point pellets definitely give you an advantage when you're going for game that is not as thick. You know, if you're going, you know, this is, you know, the depth of a heart of, like, a raccoon, you know. This is way deeper than you need to go for a squirrel or a bird, you know. So you don't need all this. 3 inches premium. Anyways, so the Gamo Redfire, pretty great. If you can't get PolyMags and you can get these, go ahead and try them. They're pretty fun, they're pretty effective, and yeah, have fun shooting, guys. And remember, if they don't shoot too well, just have fun with them, you know, enjoy them. Alright, see you, bye.